Hi, everybody, and welcome to the show. I'm your host, Jack Canfield. And with me today is Laurie Marshall, the founder of the Unity Through Creativity Foundation and the Singing Tree Project, which we're going to learn more about, which is really cool. And for the last 20 years, Laurie has helped to facilitate the creation of 106 Singing Tree collaborative murals with over 21,000 people from 52 countries participating in the process. And the Singing Tree Project helps communities of people envision positive futures to their community challenges and teaching peace-building skills and sparking innovative action. And for over 40 years, author, innovator, and artist Laurie Marshall has empowered both youth and adults through creative collaboration. She's a visionary educator. She's served mostly low-income children, families, and their schools as an arts integration and project-based learning specialist. And her mission is to nurture creativity, a love of learning, and a collaborative spirit. And she believes that creativity is a birthright that everyone is born with, unique gifts that are needed by the world. And Laurie is a certified public school teacher who holds an MA degree in art and education from Beacon College. Her innovative use of visual art and storytelling for consensus building and violence prevention has been used with organizations no less than NASA, FEMA, and the Army Corps of Engineers, as well as in public schools, in hospitals and prisons around the United States. And after 15 years of living and working in California, she now lives in El Paso, Texas with her husband. She also describes herself as a fierce elder who is passionate in her dedication to the well-being of her grandchildren, as well as all the children of the world, all who care for them and the earth that supports us. Welcome to the show, Laurie.
I'm very glad to be here, Jack Canfield.
Well, I'm excited to have you here. And as people just heard, you're an amazing person who's doing some amazing work in the world. So, I want to start with the question, especially given we have a war in Ukraine going on right now. There's a lot of other wars that are lesser known. We have this huge bifurcation in our own country, politically and so forth. And many people in the world actually don't think that peace is possible. Why do you think that peace is possible?
Thank you for that great question. The human race is a very young animal on the planet. And we forget that we haven't been here very long. We've had millions of years actually to evolve our reptile brain, which is the brain that attacks when it has the story that it's being attacked. We've had lesser millions of years to develop our heart brain, which needs to be included. And if we're excluded, we feel that as physical pain. And then we have our very young new kid on the block, neocortex, our thinking brain. And our thinking brain goes out the window when we feel excluded or attacked. And what's very exciting about living now is that all those who were born after the moonshot, which sees our Earth hanging in space, have the picture that human beings are alone together in space and that we're a human family. It's much easier to see that now than ever before when we just had our little tribes that we felt threatened by other people's tribes. So the consciousness of the planet is growing to see that we are one unified being, one family. Mm-hmm. And that's why I think peace is possible.
So you've created the Singing Tree Project, and I want you to explain what that is, a little more detail, and then talk about some of the impact you've seen happen for the people who've created them, or co-created them, I guess I should say.
Thank you. The Singing Tree Project is based on an invitation for the whole world to make a painting together. And that idea came from an 8-year-old girl in Hillsborough, Virginia. After I completed a mural with all 130 of her fellow students, she looked at the mural and said, "I wish the whole world could see our painting and then the whole world would be happy." And then she said, "What if the whole world made a painting together?" And that question opened up a longing, answered a longing that I had had for the whole world to be a peaceful place and not one filled with hatred and violence. When I was 10 years old, I had the privilege of hearing Martin Luther King speak at a Quaker conference. And he said, "People of all colors can love each other like sisters and brothers." That imprinted on my soul. And Meredith's vision of everyone creating together just set me on fire. And I had no idea how to invite the whole world to make a painting together. And then someone gave me Kate Sarady's book called The Singing Tree. It's the story in World War I that her father told her of crawling all night long on his belly with his battalion to escape the enemy. Everything had been destroyed by war, and the soldiers got more and more terrified as they crawled. When the dawn came, one tree was still standing. And in that tree were birds from hundreds of miles around who aren't normally together, singing a song that had never been heard before. I saw the earth as the singing tree of the Milky Way, because there's not life around us that we can see, that we know of easily. And we can choose to destroy this rare and precious planet and each other, or we can create beauty that's never been seen before. So I set out to make a forest of singing tree murals that are based on the structure of a tree on the earth in space. And the Singing Tree Project uses concepts from nature. We honor trees, their generosity, their ability to clean, their ability to support 350 life forms. We also focus on how nature never micromanages. The local conditions determine the form. Nature celebrates diversity. When all water wants to get to the ocean, Mississippi River doesn't do it like the Colorado, and they don't try to micromanage. The Singing Tree Project has a very clear goal of making a mural, but the people in Michigan don't tell the people in Uganda how to do it. So we celebrate diversity, and each singing tree envisions a positive future to a community challenge. The challenges have included autism, freedom from addiction, climate solutions. And what I've seen over the years is that when people have a common experience, they're able to connect to each other's hearts. I've had Crips and Bloods say to each other, "Oh my God, I didn't know that was inside you. That's really beautiful." I've had Republicans say in a setting, "I feel appreciated and respected by the Democrats" after the 2016 election. One student who helped make the Singing Tree of Climate Solutions in Ukiah, California, said, "If we can make this amazing mural together in 12 days, I think we can deal with climate chaos." So it gives people hope. One of the basis of depression, I have just learned, is that people don't know how to set realistic goals. And in Jane Goodall's book on hope, she said one of the very important things for hope is to have a goal. Having a common mural to envision your solutions, and then completing it, and then using it as a way to celebrate your accomplishments and to spark innovative action, is a practice for us all solving our very real problems that we're facing. And some of the actions that have been sparked is, again, in Ukiah, the students went to the city council to ask for their parking lot to have solar cover to both generate energy and to protect the cars. And those are just an ongoing sharing of the mural around the community is another innovative action that often happens.
That's great. I was just literally watching television last night and mentioned Jane Goodall, and the gorilla population in Uganda has doubled in size because of her work. Doubled in size in the last 10 years. So, and they expect it to double again in just a few more years. So having those realistic goals and believing they're possible. And yes. I think that's what happens. You have an experience in creating the Singing Tree where people connect, and then they realize there's a possibility of connecting at a deeper level and actually creating a better future than the one they were currently envisioning was possible. So that's really cool. So As you think about the Singing Tree Project, do you intend for it to live on beyond you? And if so, what are you doing to make that happen?
I am now training people in the Singing Tree process.
Mm-hmm.
My foundation that I began in 2001, Unity Through Creativity Foundation, is certifying people in the Singing Tree process. We have a program called the 5x5, which is making 5 singing trees over a 5-year period. And that is a training process. So for every singing tree that's made, our goal is to train between 2 and 10 people who will then take that to other communities. We're working in Cyprus, Uganda, England, the United States, Mozambique, and Peru to begin with. And it's very exciting. Our program in Uganda is in the Changwali refugee camp, and it's the singing tree to heal the trauma of war. The issue of refugees is huge on our planet. We now have 10 million or 11 million people that have left from Ukraine. It's predicted by the UN that 120 million people are going to be displaced by climate chaos. And learning from the people that have been refugees is very important, and having a space for them to express their wisdom and genius is what we're doing with the Changwali singing tree. And we have, so I'm spreading it around.
That's great.
Yeah.
Well, I've looked at a couple of the books you've written, and I've read them, and some of the murals are really inspiring, and some of the stories about what people experienced as a result of making them together really inspiring and hopeful as well. And it's really quite impactful. And I've been involved in some things similar, and it's amazing when people work together to solve a problem or to create something together, how they start to interact on a deeper level than they do when they're not. So I really love this process, and I hope you train thousands of people to teach it, because we need it. I would love to see a singing tree in every city and village and small town in the world before you're done.
Yes.
So if people want to learn more about this work and how they can bring it to their school or their community, and I hope they do, how can people get in touch with you and your foundation?
unitythroughcreativity.org has all the singing trees there. It has videos of them. It has other collaborative murals that we've done. We did a reading garden mural where all the kids got to share the books they love. We do inner landscapes, which is a place for people to share their joy and what makes them feel useful and their favorite animal and plant. That's the spot to go. And we are making a singing tree for the Ukraine. It's called the Ukrainian Singing Tree of Strength and Freedom. And were you able to make an image?
I was. I'll be sending it to you tomorrow when my assistant's here.
Oh, that is fantastic. And what was it like for you to have that time and space to express your feelings about the people of Ukraine?
Well, just wanting to say, hey, you're not alone. I'm here with you, and I care, and I'm willing to take time out of my life to let you know that. And I'm just one leaf in this huge tree, but
right.
I'm here. And I think about it. I live on a 3-acre piece of property, which has a lot of trees. And we have one tree every year that just has so many leaves. It's ridiculous. It's like it must be a 50 to 100-year-old tree. And, but it takes all those leaves to create the shade that it does, which is, something very valuable in our property. So anyway, I was very happy to do it. And
thank you.
It gave me another way. It gave me something to do besides just send money, which I've done. We just did a workshop where we raised $11,000.
Wonderful.
A few days ago to send over there took all the proceeds for that. So it just keeps it in my consciousness that we're all in this together.
Yes.
Yeah.
And another thing that's so important about leaves is that they all work together, and they never micromanage anybody or bully anybody or boast that they're better or want to control somebody, right? The leaves just all are there, turning the light into food and then fertilizing the ground under them. We're surrounded by this beautiful mutualism. And
well, and what I like about leaves too is that every tree, whether it's 1 year old or 25 years old or 1,000 years old, all it can do is send out more leaves. It just keeps growing. That the purpose of the tree at some level is to just keep expanding itself out. And that's another part of that metaphor that I really like a lot.
yes. So this is a STEAM project, a science, technology, engineering, art, and math project. And the art is really important, and the ecosystem is really important. So we're making a network of peace leaders around the planet.
Well, I love it. So thank you for your work, and thank you for joining us today, Laurie. I really appreciate it.
And thank you for this time together. It was so fun.
Oh, you're welcome. And thanks to all of you for joining us today as well, watching. And make sure to tune in again next week, where I'll be interviewing another transformational thought leader who can help you live a happier, healthier, more creative, and more meaningful life, and contribute to the web of life, so that we're all in this together. And as we keep growing in consciousness, we can experience our oneness. So thank you for joining. And, think about getting involved. Go to the foundation. Think about maybe becoming a trainer. Maybe you can become a hero in your town, your school, your prison, wherever it might be. I think this is really important work. Until then, take care, and just keep believing that we're going to create a peaceful, fulfilling world. See you next week.